A happy new year to you, dear viewers or listeners. This is Flickering Dreams, and it's 2024, which gives us a chance to look back at 2023 with our best and worst movies of the year. Enjoy. Hi, guys, and very happy new year to you. Was your Christmas good?
Apart from being quite ill.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking at once. Apart from being ill, I think I heard. Yeah. I started with this wretched cold the week before Christmas, and just all the way through Christmas, and even now, it's just dreadful. Got to my sinuses. You can probably hear from my whining voice. It's not just me whining about bad movies in this show. It's my whiny voice.
I got to see 5 films at the cinema Christmas week, so that wasn't too bad.
Well, that's pretty good going. I saw absolutely nothing. No, I tell a lie. What did I see?
Ferrari?
Yeah, Ferrari. I saw Ferrari. Yes. So we will be back to our normal routine later in this week. But this is a very special show because we are looking back at 2023 in all its glory. And we'll be looking at both our films of the year for 2023 and also our turkeys of the year for 2023, which should be fun. So, first of all, what I thought I'd do is show you some statistics from Flickering Dreams, which are quite interesting. This is some statistics. We did our first show on the 15th of February in 2023. During that time, we've reviewed 191 different films. In terms of our personal statistics, Andy and I shared the top spot with 106 different reviews. Scott came in with 82 different reviews. Emma with 70 different reviews, though she did join later. And I've added Dan to the end because he only did one show and did 2 reviews. So there you go. In terms of average scores, we've been remarkably consistent. Our average rating for myself was 6.9, and Emma was 6.9, and Andy and Scott were both 6.8. So we've actually veered ever so slightly into missed territory in terms of our averages, which is interesting. And the top rated films on the pod this year, I've actually excluded any films that we've rated where there was only one of us. But the top film for the year in terms of our ratings was Lola, getting a full 10.0. Second place was Chevalier with 9.5 score. Then there was Godzilla -1 with 9.2. Then there was a joint fourth for Creed 3, The Little Mermaid, Smoking Causes Coughing, and The Deepest Breath, which all got 9.0. In 8th place, we had The Creator on 8.67. And equal 9th, we had Suzumi, Barbie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Past Lives, The Old Oak, and Wonka, all getting 8.5. At number 15, we got The Marvels at 8.33. In 16th place, we had Air at 8.25. And then we had old smasher films in equal 17th place. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Still, the Michael J. Fox film, The Flash, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Gran Turismo, Sound of Freedom, Apocalypse Clown, Accused, Thanksgiving, Leave the World Behind, and The Three Musketeers, Milady, all getting 8.0. This is some interesting statistics as well, because I also ran what was our biggest disagreements in terms of what were the most wildly varying scores across the board. I'll do these in reverse order, right? Although you can see them on the screen for those watching on YouTube. At number 10, we had John Wick Chapter 4, which varied in scores from 5 up to 9. I think I was the 5 on that one. Polite Society came in at number 9, getting an 8, an 8, and a 4. But equal 6th was 65, getting a 3 from me and a 7. Joyride with a 5 and a 9. Napoleon with a 5 and a 9. In 5th place, The Haunted Mansion, getting a 4, a 4, a 7, and a 9. In, in fourth place, the Meg 2, The Trench, getting a 4, a 5, and a 4 from certain people, and a 10 from one other person.
What was that?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Somebody
In number 3, in number 3, we had Beau is Afraid, with getting a scores of 2, 7, and 8. At number 2, we had No Hard Feelings, getting an 8 and an 8, and a 1 from one other reverend in the audience. And our number 1 biggest disagreement film was actually Genie. We scored an 8.0, I think, from Emma, and a 0 from Andy. I don't think we had many 0 scores in the year, but that one delivered it for Andy. So there you go. Okay, so let's have a look then at our films of the year. So how this works is we all voted on our top 20 films of the year, and each person's top place got 20 points, right down to their 20th film, which got 1 point, and then I basically mashed all the numbers together, and we came up with a ranking. So these are the films which we had in our 20 to 11 positions to start off with. At number 20, we only had one person vote for this, and I think that was you, Emma, for Smoking Pauses Coughing.
Was me.
It was.
Definitely was me.
Yeah, there you go. In next place, we had Next Girl Wins, which I think was you as well, Emma.
It was also. Look, to be honest, I'm surprised any of mine got into the top listing at all. So well, I'm happy with this.
well, Andy will be happy as well, because I think next up comes his big championing film,
which I can't believe none of you guys have seen it. It's number 17 in our list. It's number 1 in Rolling Stone. Dr. Kermode called it a gem. What do you guys call yourselves film critics? I mean, get out there and watch it.
I know.
Oh.
I need to. So, yes, equal 17th is Typist Artist Pirate King and Creed 3. And then proceeding down the list at number equal 14, this time with 2 votes from people, we had Rye Lane, The Great Escaper, and Talk to Me. And then at number 13, we had A Man Called Otto, also with 2 votes. At number 12, we had The Whale, also with 2 votes. Interestingly, I asked Dan to provide his worst films for the year, and he could only come up with one, and that was The Whale. So if you count a minus 10 into that vote, that would drop out the list completely, but I haven't done that. And finally, at number 11, we had the big fight back that came from Emma and Scott earlier in the year, which was for Saw X, which, well, there you go. I never got to see Saw X, but I know Andy took a dim view of it, which you rectified.
It's very good, Bob.
He did move up after we talked him into it.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of reassessed it a little bit. I think if we were doing it now, I might give it a slightly higher score, but not maybe 1 point.
Yeah. Okay.
It still wouldn't make my top 20.
Okay, let's then proceed into our joint top 10 films, and this is the film at number 10.
What kind of movie are we gonna make?
You dismiss what he does. It's playful or imaginative. You could afford to be a little encouraging.
She should have been a concert piano player. What she got in her heart is what you got.
You can't just love something, you also have to take care of it. It's more important than your hobby. Can you stop calling it a hobby?
So, this is Spielberg's pet project, as it were, his life story, although I do object to the fact he didn't call it the Spielbergs and call it the Fabelmans instead. I think it'd be a better film, or a better appeal to the film if it had been called Absolutely. The Fabelmans. Yeah, but so that's a number. So the Fabelmans got 2 of us voting for it, one giving it a score of 14 and the other one giving it a score of 13, for a combined total of 27.
Obviously, we didn't take Dan's minus numbers into account, but I will quite happily let you count mine in this one.
Yes, I know. Somebody put this in their worst. Why did you not like it as much, Emma?
Self-indulgent nonsense.
Really, I didn't find it that way at all. But I didn't find it that way. But yeah, okay. All right, that just shows how much we differ, doesn't it, when we look at these films. Let's move on to our number 9 film collectively. And this was a bit of a crowd pleaser.
You can find me under the lights, diamonds under my eyes.
This is the best day ever. It is the best day ever. So is yesterday, and so is tomorrow, and every day from now until forever. Do you guys ever think about dying?
So, of course, this is the smash hit of the summer that made cinema owners happy up and down the country. It has made $1.4 billion so far at the box office. Barbie, of course. This one actually got votes from 4 out of the 5 of us. I think, Andy, you were probably the exception on this one.
I definitely was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody giving it 17 points. I think that was possibly you, Emma, was it? Did you have that high in your list?
No, it only just made the cut on my list.
I think I was the highest in that one, probably, Bob.
I think you might have been then. Yeah, let me have a look.
It didn't make.
I'm not going to say that was a bit. I'm not going to say that was a bit sexist, you guess there, Bob. But
I just thought it was an Emma type of film. That's all. That's all.
I mean, you're not wrong there.
There were no sharks in it. Actually, there was a shark in it, wasn't there?
Yeah. There was a shark
there was.
in it. Yeah, there
was a shark. It's a shark film, Emma. Yeah. Yes, actually, Scott put it as his 4th favourite film of the year. So there you go. That's what helped Barbie get up there. All the rest of us didn't rate it very highly. It was in our bottom half of the table, between 10 and 20. But that's how it got there. So number 9. Yeah. Number 9 was Barbie. Here's our number 8 choice.
Oh, bliss. Bliss, bliss, bliss. Oh, this song. God, I haven't heard this song in forever. I used to hang out with them all, actually, when I was modelling. Britpop, Blur, Oasis, goth, parties. But then, of course, Common People came out, and everybody thought it was written about me, which was completely mortifying and ridiculous. I mean, I barely knew Jarvis. What? But she came from Greece. She had a thirst for knowledge. It couldn't have been me. I've never wanted to know anything.
That, of course, is Emil Fidel's Saltburn, who I very nearly got to get a picture with at the BFI before she was whipped away by a PR person, giving me the most beautiful apologetic smile, because I was obviously there waiting for a picture. Well. You remember? She got whipped away, and it was lovely. It was lovely. I will treasure that smile.
Look on your face was a picture, Bob.
That was good. Anyway, so that is Saltburn. That got votes from myself and from Dan, in fact. None of you guys put it in your top 20s, but that was enough to get it high up into our combined scores. Wow. And that gets our number 8 slot. Moving on, we've got a film at number 7, which I think, again, Emma might disagree with. Here we go.
Miles!
Yeah, okay.
Finally. Get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from. And he never doubts that he is loved.
So, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, of course. There's lots of people shaking their heads there. I'm trying to see who voted for this.
Finally, one of mine's made the top 10.
Yeah. That one came from you, Andy. It also came very high up in Dan's list. So Dan voted it. That is number 3 film of the year.
What was so special about that one? It was like watching a comic book being brought to life. Pages turning and everything, bubbles, everything, speech bubbles. But the pages turning as well. I just thought it was just so brilliantly animated.
I enjoyed it as well. I have to say it was in my 20 to 30 list, but I know you younger folks didn't like it at all. I don't think.
Surprising.
Probably talking about that in a later list.
Yes, I think we will be. Okay, moving on. Another crowd pleaser that I remember we were very positive about on the podcast. Here's our number 6 choice.
Monsieur, I fear this will not be a kind place to such a boy.
The boy has talent, but one in particular that is exceptional.
Very well.
I realized the more I excelled, the less I was alone.
Were you always so competitive?
So that, of course, is Chevalier, which made Andy's list, and also I think it was number 2 or number 3. Number 3 in your list, Scott.
It was
Number
indeed.
8 in mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's post-Oscars film of the year so far. It just got me on every level with the filmmaking, the performances. I just had a great time. Enjoyed the historical epic that it was, and the music.
Yeah,
the music was unbelievable. Just fabulous.
Fantastic.
Again, in my 20 to 30 list, so it didn't quite make my top 20, but again, very solid film. Some of you have got a very violent nature. Here's our number 5 film.
Get down on your knees. Fuck him up! We got gold!
Yeah, because machine gun bullets never pass through a person, do they? Yeah, that never happened in JFK either. Yeah. No bullets pass through a body. It can always protect you from machine gun bullets. Yeah, everybody knows that. Totally true. So that, of course, was Sisu, which was the completely out there Finnish adventure movie, which was kind of Tarantino without Tarantino directing it. But yeah, I agree. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Didn't make my list.
So much fun.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, unfortunately.
Have you not? Oh, that's
got to see it.
That's a New Year one for you to catch up on.
No,
so
I've decided to start with Pirates King, of course.
Yeah. So that made 3 of our lists. Didn't make my list. Scott's never seen it, so it must be Emma and Andy. Yeah, all kind of middle ranking for them, and also Dan. So it got reasonable scores from all 3 of you for that one. Okay, we're getting up the list. Here's our number 4 film. Can't see many people arguing with this one.
What a good story this is. Childhood sweethearts who reconnect 20 years later and realize they were meant for each other. In the story, I would be the evil white American husband standing in the way of destiny.
Shut up. He was just this kid in my head for such a long time. I think I just missed him.
Did he miss you?
Celine Song's Past Lives, of course, which I know a lot of people have a lot of love for this film, and I think it's going to feature heavily in the Oscars next year. Surely one of the tensest closing scenes in just about any film this year. Forget your adventure movies. The ending, last 5 minutes of that film was really up there. 3 of us voted for that one, and yeah, high up in Andy's list, high up in my list, and also I think it made Dan's list as well.
Yeah, I had it at number 3.
Yeah,
of the year. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. This is our number 3 combined, and again, I think Andy will like this because I think this is an Andy. If I really liked Typist Artist Pirate King, right, that would be up here as well. But we both really saw and liked this one.
Come on. Miss Hadbury, you and your sister. It's her mysterious invention, Lola.
Lola is a system of electrical processes which allows us to observe broadcasts from the future.
This is magnificent. It's beautiful. It's going to change history.
This is the true magic.
Movies, royal weddings, a musical rebellion, signals beamed around the world.
Because of this pioneering work, this marks a huge turning point in the war against Nazi Germany.
So that was Andrew Legg's Lola. Have you actually seen Lola, Emma and Scott?
No, not yet.
Oh, another one to add to your New Year list. It's an absolutely cracking little time-traveling sci-fi film. And I was blown away when I saw this. It so cleverly takes newsreel footage and inserts it into the film with a twist, with some CGI added to it, or special effects added to it.
You and I got
really,
to meet
really
Andrew
clever.
Legg, Bob, didn't we?
We did,
Which
yes.
was
yes.
a treat of the year, and he did say his next film's going to be sci-fi as well. He told us.
Yeah,
so,
very interesting director to watch, because that one must have been made on a shoestring. It also has songs by Neil Hannon, who of course did Wonka, and there's some very clever songs in Lola from Neil Hannon as well, if you like Divine Comedy.
I had it at number 2. I just thought it was fabulous.
Yeah, and that's why it's there. You had it at number 2, I had it at number 3, and that's what got it there. And here's my number 1 in at our joint number 2.
We're in a race against the Nazis. And I know what it means if the Nazis have a bomb.
We have a 12-month head start.
18.
How could you possibly know that?
We've got one hope. All America's industrial might and scientific innovation connected here. A secret laboratory. Keep everyone there until it's done.
Let's go recruit some scientists.
For Nolan's Oppenheimer, of course, the other half of the Barbenheimer weekend. That one got votes from 3 of us with a score of 42 overall. So, again, pretty impressive across the board. Positive views of that film. But it's not going to beat our number 1. What do you think the number 1 is? It's the only film that all of us gave points to.
I can make an educated guess.
Out of all the films in 2023, this was the only one that all of us gave votes to, and it was this one.
That still gives me goosebumps watching that
clip.
I know.
Me too.
Where you first see him.
And for our audio listeners, that had a double whammy of a lot of sound effects and Japanese language, so apologies for that, but I'll leave all that in. And of course is Godzilla -1, which, and the reason it's at the top of the list is that 2 of us gave it top marks as our film of the year. That was Dan and who else was it? Was it you, Emma? Emma, yeah. And then we had votes of 16, 6, and 2 as well. I'm afraid I was at 2, so I only put it at number 18 in the list. I may need to give it another watch, actually, because this is a film I have thought about more than a lot of films after I've watched them. So that got a score of 64 points, compared to the second place of 42. So it wasn't just our number one film, it was number one film by a country mile. So that is our top 10 and the points assigned to them. Actually, sorry, Lola and Past Lives were not 3 and 4. They were actually equal third. They both got 37 points. So I didn't correct the video for that, but I should make that clear. And actually, we were very, very diverse in the films that we liked. So out of our top 20, there was 5 of us giving our top 20s, which could give us a maximum possible number of films of 100 different films. But we managed to get up to 68 films in those combined lists, which is quite impressive. So there were lots of films that we named in our top 20s, which only one of us out of the 5 named, which is quite extraordinary how diverse it is. And there were only 4 films that got more than 2 votes in the top 20. There's Godzilla -1 with 5. Barbie got 4 of us to vote for it, but not particularly highly. Oppenheimer had 3 of us, and Sisu had 3 of us as well. So again, it reflects just how diverse our tastes are. But I guess that's a good thing. If we look at the individual top 10s that we've got, so this is my top 10 with Oppenheimer at the top. I've put how many other people voted for it. So 2 other people voted for it. Nobody voted for Fallen Leaves. So my top 10 for the audio listeners is Oppenheimer at 1, Past Lives at 2, Lola at 3, Fallen Leaves that nobody else voted for at 4, Saltburn at 5, Rye Lane at 6, Wonka at 7. I seem to be the only person who really liked Wonka. There's one other person gave it points, but The Fabelmans at 8, Apocalypse Clown, which I was the only one to like Apocalypse Clown. I looked on IMDb and it's only got an IMDb rating of 5.4, so I'm clearly wrong in the head for really loving that film. And Missing at number 10, which just fell out of our top 10. In fact, I think Scott, you voted highly for Missing as well.
I voted for Missing highly as well. Yeah,
it's a really solid, good film if you've not seen it. Moving on to me, and no surprise what's at Andy's top of the list. It's Typist Artist Pirate King. Only because we haven't seen it yet. Lola at number 2, Past Lives at number 3, The Great Escaper at number 4, Godzilla -1 at number 5, No One Will Save You, which is the Caitlin Dever horror film set in a house with aliens, at number 6. Again, that was the only vote for that. Surprisingly, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny didn't get any votes from anybody else as well, but Andy's got it at number 7. Chevalier at number 8, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at number 9, and Oppenheimer, at number 10. Looking at Emma's list, a lot more.
Red lines.
A lot more red, and we love your diverse taste, Emma. We really do. At number 1, she's got Godzilla -1. At number 2, Next Girl Wins, which I saw last week. I thought it was pleasant enough without being spectacular, but there you go. Number 3, Smoking Causes Coughing, which again was a crazy film from earlier in the year. Number 4 is The Whale. Number 5 is Slaughterhouse, which I never got to see.
I'm just very upset that no one else has seen that and voted for it.
Emma, now you know how I feel.
You're fine.
Right. Number 6, we've got Saw X. Number 7, we've got Sisu. Number 8, another really solid, about the only solid Marvel film I think this year. Maybe The Eternals was half decent. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And number 9, Scott's shaking his head. You'll have your comeback. Number 9, we've got Sly, the Sylvester Stallone documentary on Netflix. I think that's the only documentary we've got in our list. And number 10, Knock at the Cabin, the M. Night Shyamalan film.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Shamalama Ding Dong. Which I thought was okay, but I didn't particularly rate it. Why did you love that one so much, Emma?
I honestly, like Dave Bautista, Who knew he could act that well?
That's true. That's true. Not just big and brawny, but he can act as well. Yeah. I can't remember why I was ho-hum about Knock at the Cabin, but I probably need to read my review.
Films, the setup's brilliant, but the ending let it down. I
remember the ending.
He can't end films anymore. Yeah.
I wanted it to go one of two ways, and it didn't go either way, as I remember it. Yeah. So here's Scott's top 10. Again, a lot of red, but some very solid red films in here, I have to say. They didn't quite make my list, but Creed 3, I could absolutely stand behind that and watch that again. That was a really solid film. Again, that was in my 20 to 30 list. A Man Called Otto at number 2, Chevalier at number 3, Barbie at number 4. You're the only one who voted for the Marvels at number 5.
I'm very surprised, because I remember when we reviewed this, I think we were all very positive, or there was a lot of high scores in that.
It is in my... So I put it as my 16 on my list, so...
Oh.
It would have been in my 30 to
I did
20.
put it on my 16, Bob. That should say 1.
Ooh.
Oh, do I have to have a recount, Bob?
Oh, so we did have a steward's inquiry on this, and indeed, due to a clerical error on my part, I did omit Emma's scores for the Marvels, so my apologies for that. I also managed to miss out a place, because in equal 12th place is the film Missing. So apart from that, it's all fine, right? And these are what the ratings for the Flickering Dreams 11 to 20 places should be, with Missing coming in as an equal 12th with The Whale, and the Marvels coming in number 15. The effect of that is that it's effectively bumped both Next Girl Wins to 21st place and Smoking Causes Coughing to 22nd place. So my apologies for that. Now back to the podcast. At number 6, we've got The Sun. At number 7, we've got a film which I think was on Netflix, wasn't it? Which is Devotion, which I remember you... Prime, right. But you were very positive about that film. Still not seen it. Number 8 is the film we were talking about before, Missing, with an excellent performance by Storm Reid. And a very, very clever, twisty plot, I have to say. There's a twist in that film that comes, and I never saw it coming, and it's a corker. And then 2, Hindi film at number 9, Mission Rani Ganj, which I think was Top Gun Maverick on a low budget in India, wasn't it? Wasn't it that one?
No, that was Tejas. Mission Rani Ganj was the one with the miners.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah, I remember it now. Right.
Yeah, that did look good.
And at number 10, we've got The Boston Strangler, which, again, I haven't seen. There's a few on your list, Scott, which I need to add to my list, because I've not seen that one. Okay, and finally, on these lists, we've got Dan's choice. Dan, who is the big Godzilla fan, stuck Godzilla -1 at number 1. He also stuck Talk to Me at number 2. I put that in my list as well, but right down the list, I think, at number 20. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at number 3. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On at number 4, which I know a lot of us didn't care for, but Dan clearly did. At number 5, The Evil Dead Rise. At number 6, Blue Jean, which I agree is a very solid film.
That was very good.
The good film.
Yeah. Number 7, The Fabelmans. Number 8, Saltburn. Number 9, Sisu. And number 10, Oppenheimer. So that is our top 10 films. We're going to move on now from the excellent to maybe not so excellent by looking at our turkeys of the year.
This is where the fun begins.
Bring it
How
on.
offended am I going to be? That's why I'm
How offended? Well, I'm a little bit offended by the first one of these because I don't think it deserves to be on the worst of the list.
Ooh.
But here we go. We actually have a joint 5th worst film here. So here they are.
We're doing 5, are we?
Yeah.
5, okay.
You're not here.
We're not there. The car exploded. Come get the girls. I have to stay here with Woodrow.
I'm not the chauffeur. I'm the grandfather. Where are you?
Asteroid City, Farm Route 6, mile 75.
Junior stargazers and space cadets. Each year we celebrate Asteroid Day, commemorating September 23rd, 3007 BC, when the arid plains meteorite made Earth impact.
Miami Center. Is anyone there?
Say your tail number and intention.
Doug, what's going on?
I've got an emergency up here. My wife and daughters are on this plane.
I need you to stop a plane crash. You're the only person I know who can save them.
Has he flown a King Air?
So, equal number 5 is Wes Anderson's Asteroid City, which I don't think deserves to be on that list, but it was the most Wes Anderson-y film ever. And I guess if you don't like Wes Anderson, which I think, Scott, you were the one who put that as your worst film of the year. Discuss.
Yeah, so I'm going to say for me, Wes Anderson is actually hit or miss. There are some of his films, Grand Budapest Hotel, Moonrise Kingdom, that I really love. But then there's others that I really hate. And in this one, it was just absolute twaddle. Just style over substance to the nth degree. It just annoyed me. I spent most of the time in the cinema bored and annoyed, thinking this isn't very funny. And the way that he makes people talk when you're not in the right mood for it or you're not on board, it can really drag. And yeah, I just felt very annoyed at this movie. Yeah. Well, your 10 points for your worst film of the year, that is what rocketed it into that list. So Wes Anderson, if you're watching, Scott Forbes, he lives in Aberdeen, up there, right? You know where to find him. And our joint fifth film there was On a Wing and a Prayer, with Dennis Quaid trying to save his family, including Heather Graham, from disaster when the pilot of their plane has a heart attack. Based on a true story, but oh dear, it was pretty bad. Made worse by this really, really annoying radio ham girl in her bedroom mansplaining the basics of aeronautics to her little pal, who was completely clueless and asking clueless questions. It was shocking. I mean, that was a bad film, and I will agree that was a bad film. Okay, number 4, I think here will please myself and Andy.
Rome is a great walking city.
Belle donne, le viti più vecchie danno l'uva più dolce.
What did he say? The older the vines, the sweeter the fruit. Oh, yes, we still got it.
I'm delighted that you'll be joining us tonight.
There's no problem if 4 random women show up.
This is Italy. There's always room for random, beautiful women.
Gianni! Who is Gianni? What are you doing here?
This is my cooking school.
Wow.
Oh.
I'm not saying they're generic, but I was like, 80 for Brady wasn't that bad.
Exactly.
It
yes.
was.
There were a lot of films like that this year.
Yeah, we had Joyride, we had Take That Greatest Days, this one, and 80 for Brady. Groups of women go on road trips, get drunk, lose their documents, have one-night stands, fall in with each other, fall out with each other. Same plot in every single one of those films. Absolute rubbish.
Yeah. If for audio listeners in particular, if you didn't pick up on the film, that is Book Club: The Next Chapter, or Book Club 2, as it were. Pray God there won't be another chapter in the book. I'm sure there will, because there's bound to be a film crew that are going to want to have some nice European holiday somewhere. So yeah, that is our number 4th worst film. Number 3, again, I think this is primarily Andy and myself putting this up here.
How old are you?
You know, I'm just wearing my dead boyfriend's shirt and texting his old number.
Rob wanted to make sure you got one of these.
I have a phone.
You have a personal phone. This is a work phone.
I miss you so much. There's an aching inside of me.
Do you have a question for me?
Yes, Miss Dion. Do you really believe in all these things you sing?
You obviously know nothing about it.
What?
Love.
Can we give an example of how lazy the script writing was on this film? We've quoted it before. She's in a stadium, first night of her tour. She's doing a sound check in the afternoon. One of her people rushes on and says, "Miss Dion, will you approve the posters for the stadium tour?" What? And the whole thing is just vomit-inducing from start to finish, isn't it, Bob? I mean, it is just...
It is. Yeah.
I mean, I walked out of the cinema literally racing for the toilet. I felt physically sick.
My two daughters are Celine Dion fans, and they cannot wait to see this film. I have warned them off it. I have warned them off it, but they will need more. They will need more than that, I think. Yeah. So, Love Again is the film starring Celine Dion, who I'm afraid she can sing well, but boy, can she not act. And
can she not act? But nobody can. The writing was unbearably lazy.
It was shocking.
Shocking.
It was a shocking film. And talking of shocking films, here's our number 2, which I think might surprise you, Andy. But this is what we jointly declared our number 2.
My father passed away, and his last wish was for us to visit his childhood village and reconnect with our roots. So, we're having a reunion. We're going to Greece.
Oh, yeah?
1, 2, 3, 4. And by we, I mean the whole family.
Who wants souvlaki?
Paging souvlaki. Anybody by the name of souvlaki on this flight?
It's shocking, right?
We're going on a reunion with people we've never met. What?
This was my number 1 worst film of the year, personally. And yours. Unfortunately, it didn't make it our combined number 1 film. There was another film which more of us backed as a terrible film. But my Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 was yet another excuse for filmmakers, who include Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, were the producers behind that. I mean, how? Why? Right? But it's a shocking film with absolutely devoid of laughs for me. And I'd argue for anybody. Certainly the cinema was silent as a grave when I went to see it. Not a single person laughing.
I've been to Corfu. What Corfu ever did to have this pile of absolute reindeer droppings dropped on it is beyond me. I mean, it is just... the worst, one of the worst films, not just of the year, but one of the worst films I have ever seen. I mean, it was
shocking. It is that bad. It is that bad. There's like...
I'm feeling very lucky that I've not seen any of the last 3 here.
Oh, well, Scott, you're a lucky man.
You are such a lucky man. You are so fortunate.
Yeah. Whoa! Is there somebody rebuilding a flat there?
Somebody smashing Greek plates.
Yes, that's exactly what it should be. So, terrible film. That makes our number 2. But there was one film that we jointly declared to be worse.
What could possibly be worse?
This is it.
Los Angeles, the city of angels. More like the city of dirty little secrets. People pay me to look into the activities of its finest citizens. I'm a private detective. The name is Philip Marlowe.
I hear that you are looking for someone.
We're all looking for someone.
I'll pay you $1,000 if you find him for me.
The puzzle has many pieces. I don't know what you're going to find.
So that is Marlowe on Sky. And the reason it's there is it generally got bad votes from all of us. It was my 5th worst film. It was Scott's 4th worst film. And it was Emma's worst film of the year.
I was getting a bit worried that I hadn't had any appear yet. But, yeah, I'm feeling better about it now.
I'd forgotten about it completely. I mean, it's not in my list, but had I remembered it, just goes to show how bad it was. It had gone out of my consciousness and didn't even make my list.
It is.
But, yeah, you're right. You're right.
It is. It is a pretty terrible film. I mean, the acting is universally terrible. Even great people like Daniela Melchior, who's one of my actors to watch, her cameo in that film is absolutely atrocious, really bad. She should purge it from her CV if she can. The dialogue is shocking. I mean, it's directed by Neil Jordan, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy that Neil Jordan should write a film that ends up as our worst film of the year. But there you go. That's what it did. Let's just have a quick look at our summary of worst films. So we had 33 films in our list. I should add here that Dan did not submit a worst 10, so that's out of 40. So we had 33 different films out of a possible 40, which is going some. And only 6 films got more than 1 vote in the list, and that was them. Marlowe, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, 3, Love Again, The Book Club Next Chapter, On a Wing and a Prayer, and Ant-Man Quantum Mania. And here's our individual worst film list. These are actually our individual worst 10. And again, highlighted on the screen for viewers on YouTube are the films which only one of us voted as bad. So on my list, I had My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, Best Christmas Ever, which I thought was absolutely dreadful. It kind of summarizes my whole crop of terrible Christmas films that we had this year. But Best Christmas Ever, I think, was a nadir for me. My number 3 was 65, the Adam Driver sci-fi prehistoric film, which I thought was absolutely dreadful. 4, Marlowe. 5, Love Again. 6, On a Wing and a Prayer. 7, Book Club 2. 8, a film called Maybe I Do, which was a dispiriting film about marital affairs. 9, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and 10, I had Disney's Haunted Mansion, which I think was pretty dire. Andy's worst 10, My Big Fat Greek Wedding at 3 at number 1, Love Again at number 2. You put Ennis Men in there at number 3, which I must admit I haven't seen because I got somewhat put off by your comments. 4 was The Book Club Next Chapter. 5 was 80 for Brady, which you were the only one to put. 6 was Exorcist Believer. 7 was Anyone But You. Oh, that was the one that's just... which we'll review next week, so that'll be entertaining, because Scott rated it. Andy, you had it in your worst films of the year, so that'll be fun. 8 was No Hard Feelings, a Jennifer Lawrence comedy, which I must admit I quite enjoyed, but there you go. 9 was Magic Mike's Last Dance, and hopefully it will be. And 10 was Joyride, about the South Korean people pretending to be a South Korean K-pop group.
A group of women go on a road trip, get drunk, fall in with each other. Where have I heard that before?
Yeah, common theme. There's been 2 themes for the films in this year. Women going on holiday and AI films. Yeah, that's the theme for this year. What will it be this year? Yeah. And then Emma's worst starts with Marlowe at number 1, as we discussed. Old Dads at number 2. See, all of these films are ones which only Emma has said. Dream Scenario, which I can't believe you've got as a worst film with Nicolas Cage. I thought it was really good. It was okay. Beau is Afraid with Joaquin Phoenix, which I also thought was really good. Babylon, which I agree was very long, but don't think it deserves to be there, but that's my view. The Last Rifleman, the companion film, if you like, to The Great Escaper with Pierce Brosnan at number 6. Infinity Pool, which I can't actually remember. That was a weird one, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a weird.
Just pointless.
Yeah. 8, you've got The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans, your worst films. Strays at number 9, which I agree was quite scatological and not very good.
Wait.
Yeah.
Now, it's not Strays, it's The Strays. It's a different film.
Oh.
It's not the one with the dogs.
It's not the one with the dogs. I thought you just mistyped that.
No. There is a film called The Strays. It's about a woman who is like hiding from her past and gets a new family and a well-to-do life, and her past comes to catch up with her.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Right.
I mean, either way.
Yeah. And number 10 was Dead Shot, which was a sort of Northern Ireland terrorist thing set in the 70s, which, again, didn't think it was great, but I didn't think it was too bad either. So Scott's worst, number 1, Asteroid City. Number 2, Marcel, The Shell with Shoes On. So we'll leave you to discuss that one with Dan later. Number 3, the Take That film, Greatest Days,
which I agree was a road trip.
Great on road trip. There you go. Number 4, we got Marlowe. Number 5, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. 6, On a Wing and a Prayer. 7, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. 8 was Napoleon, which I again would say no, but there you go. 9, Bottoms, which again I quite enjoyed. And 10, Peter Pan and Wendy, which I think I can agree with you on for that one. Yeah. So that is our best films and our worst films of the year. Will you agree with them? Maybe, probably not. Given our list was so diverse, you're almost bound not to agree with all of those. But those were our views, and isn't it wonderful that we can all have such a different view of cinema films? So we're going into 2024. We will be back later in the week with a standard program, catching up on all the films that were on over Christmas. In fact, it may need to be 2 episodes because there's a lot to catch up on. But we will see you again soon. Thank you very much, guys, to Emma Sewell from Emma at the Movies, from Scott Forbes from the Forbes Film and TV Review on Facebook, and Andy Godfrey, the Reverend Andy Godfrey from Connect Radio and Sorted Magazine. And I'm Bob Mann from One Man's Movies. Thanks for watching or listening. See you soon.
Thank you so much for listening or watching Flickering Dreams. You can find the video version on YouTube and the audio version on all major podcast platforms. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get each of the weekly episodes as they are released. We'll see you at the movies.